you for catching up with us at the Mobile World Congress.
Thank you for having me, Shilbani.
Amongst the topics that were explored at this year's Mobile World Congress was metaverse, whether it is future, fad or fraud. There were a lot of conversations on how it will change advertising for good too. But what are the other techs apart from metaverse that will change advertising in the coming days? Well, my next conversation is just about that. At MWC, I'm catching up with Dickon Laws, who is Head of Innovation and Head of Ogilvy Emerging Experience Lab. Dickon, welcome to CNBC-TV18 and Storyboard. Tell us about what do you really do? What is, the Emerging Experience Lab at Ogilvy?
Sure. So Ogilvy's Emerging Experience Lab is shortcut. We call it reality. Our job is, working within a kind of advertising network or an experience network, is to look forward into what the emerging technologies and the emerging behaviors are and try and bring those forward so they're applicable for brands today. So at the moment, you could say that things like augmented reality, artificial intelligence, VR, not all of those are emerging technologies, but they are emerging experiences that brands are starting to see as quite strategic rather than maybe what they've been in before as tactical. Our job is to tell them strategically why they have value for them as a business, as opposed to just technologies.
Yeah, and you launched, I believe, Reality?
Yes.
Like a couple of months ago?
Yeah, so we launched in November.
Yeah, launched in November. And so what is the kind of work that Reality has done so far?
Okay, great, good question. So we've done some really exciting things. So one of the first things we did was to work with Nokia. Obviously, Nokia are here at MWC in quite a magnificent stand, which you've probably seen, and they've relaunched their brand. One of the first things that we did as Reality was to help Pekka Lundberg, who is their CEO, kind of create a really disruptive invitation to bring people to MWC to hear his announcement and see him on stage in his keynote. And we did that through using volumetric captures. We created a hologram of Pekka to disrupt Nokians and the investor community to figure out that Nokia were doing something a bit differently. So we went to Finland, we captured him as a hologram in his locality, and then we created an AR experience, which was then sent out to all 90,000 Nokian employees to bring them all together to understand what the rebranding was all going to be about. And it's that kind of use of technology that people are really excited by, because it really starts to show them that actually things like AR are not just for funny face filters or gimmicky models. They can be really impactful when it comes to engaging in experiences.
In general, what are the kind of solutions that clients are looking for in this emerging tech space?
So what we're seeing at the moment is two real focuses. One around augmented realities, and much more of a focus on how they become strategic tools, not just kind of creative content experiences. And the other one is obviously kind of more generative AI work, obviously really hot topic at the moment. But clients are really keen to understand how they can use things like ChatGPT and GPT-3 in more strategic ways, as opposed to the novelty that we're seeing at the moment in some of the use cases for it.
Yeah, and since we are meeting at MWC, any interesting tech or interesting solutions which can be applied effectively to the advertising industry that you've seen on ground?
It's a great question. I think you've got two parts to MWC, right? You've got the actual main body of the experience that's happening here, but then you've got 4 years from now as the kind of the secondary part of it. And I think that's really been what's really exciting for us. I think where we focus on the brand application and the consumer interactions, a lot of the main displays here are kind of vendors selling large-scale enterprise technologies. 4 years from now is where all the startups are coming together, and inherently the startups are much more focused on the end user. So we're seeing there loads of technologies that can be better applied. So we're seeing AI, we're seeing health experiences, we're seeing lots of innovations that are putting consumer at the heart of the experience as opposed to corporations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, it is time for a short break. More conversations and insights from Mobile World Congress Barcelona on the other side of this break.